Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Dojo. I'm Grandmaster Ray Such, and this week we're going to be covering a couple more interviews from the Circle of Masters. We're going to be covering two of their seminars. Kristina Michelle will be having a minute of self-defense, common sense self-defense for women, and we'll see what else happens. But on the first interview is Tony Marcial. Tony Marcial is a master in Kali, extremely talented and at the top of his game. So let's hear what Tony has to say.
This is Kristina Michelle with the Dojo here at the International Circle of Masters. And right now I'm talking with Tony Marcial. Thank you for joining us, Tony.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
If you want to start off, just tell us a little bit about your style.
Okay.
You know, is it a hard style, soft style?
Well, it's kind of in between. The system that I teach is called Kali, which is also known as Arnes or Eskrima, depending on what region of the Philippines you are. It's a style from the Philippines. We initially start with weapons, mainly double baston, which is 2 sticks. We then translate that to single sticks, and then the movements we do with that, we translate that to knife fighting, and of course we go into the empty hand.
So with starting out with weapons, does somebody need prior martial arts experience to get into it?
No.
Or you work with beginners?
We work with beginners. You don't need to have any martial arts background, although most of my students do have them. But sometimes I like to teach individuals with no background at all, because then I don't have any bad habits or habits to break, you know, things like that. But no, you can be a beginner and you can learn the system.
And you have a school where you teach this, right?
Yes, my school is out in Westlake, Ohio. I forgot the address, crap.
That's all right.
But it's in the corner of Dover Center and Detroit Road.
And what's the name of the school?
Okay, well, I'm actually in partners with another school. The name of the school is called Westlake Martial Arts.
Okay.
And Philippine Martial Arts Institute, which is my school, is housed in there.
Okay.
So.
And what ages do you teach? I'm sure with the weapons. It's
Yeah, with the
older
weapons,
than
I'd
most.
prefer to have kids at least 16 years of age and up. Although I do have some students that are about 14. I usually talk to them and I kind of try them out, see if how they adapt to it.
Right.
Then I decide whether or not, I want to keep them or wait 2 years later, you know, things like that.
Now, tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been in the martial arts?
Oh God, I've been in the martial arts since I was 6 years of age. I am 59 years old. I'll be 60 next year. Oh, getting old. But I've been doing martial arts since then. My first instructor was my dad, who taught me Shotokan, karate. He taught me for a year and a half. From there, I started learning the, the white crane, Kung Fu in the Philippines. I did that for about a year and a half as well. And then I started to get interested into the Arnis, which is what we used to call it in the Philippines, you know, because I was in the northern part of the Philippines, and we would call it Arnis. And that's where I got started. I just fell in love with it, with the sticks and the knives, and then I just started learning after that.
Now, when it comes to weapons, even with, you know, practice weapons, there are chances of injury in that, which is, I'm sure, why you work with older students. But what would you say is the biggest focus when it comes to working with weapons? Is it, you know, confidence or discipline? It's
both. Usually we start with weapons first to build up confidence and reflex reaction. The main factor of that is getting the individuals to learn to fight with weapons first. This way they'll get used to it. We do a lot of translation. For instance, we'll have a stick against a stick, a knife against a stick, knife against a knife. Then we translate that to empty hand against a stick, a knife against an empty hand, things like that. By doing the same movements you would with a stick, we would emulate the same movement with a knife and empty hand. So it becomes a habit-forming movement that you just react without thinking. Right. So when a weapon comes at you, you react the same way. You know, that's what I mean by confidence. You will have that confidence that, you'll still have the fear, but when it comes to protecting yourself or maybe trying to get away, you'll know what to do at least.
Now, what do most of your students what would you say they get into it for? Is it just for the knowledge of protecting themselves, or for tournaments?
Not mainly tournaments, because we do, although there is tournaments now in Kali where they are fully geared, headgear, every body gear, legs, and they do full contact with that. But that's not my goal in teaching this. My goal is to more into self-defense.
Right.
Although they can join tournaments if they want to, I'm not going to tell them no, you know. But the main purpose that I teach is for them to learn to protect themselves, regardless of what weapon comes at them. Could be empty hand, could be a knife, could be a crowbar, could be a ball bat, things like that. At least they'll know how to respond.
So how many weapons do you work with?
Well, we just may work with double sticks, single sticks. We do knives. We do a lot of knife fighting. And we do double knives, single knives. We even do, we call spada y daga, which means sword and dagger. We do that. That's more into more classical martial arts.
Right.
But what it does is it builds up, again, body mechanics, you know, footwork, coordination of lower and upper body, things like that. We do also do staff, but we call it spear. We don't use it as staff, but we would use it as we would use a spear.
Right.
Things like that, yeah.
Now, you said you started out in Shotokan?
Shotokan, yeah.
And how did you gravitate towards the Kali?
Well, as a matter of fact, Shotokan was my dad's system. And I was into the martial arts back then. I was really interested in learning, so he started teaching me. And then, of course, Bruce Lee came out.
Right.
You know, and I said, I have to learn this. Why don't I move like that? You know, why is my movement, you know, tight and
stiff.
Rough and stiff? Yeah. And my dad said, because that's Kung Fu. You're learning karate. So, well, can I learn Kung Fu? So my dad has a friend. His name is Roberto Sarmiento, who's my teacher. And he is actually half Chinese and half Filipino. So his dad is Filipino and his mom is Chinese. But anyway, his uncle, who's on his mom's side, teaches the White Crane system. So he was able to talk to him, get me into that class, and join. He only teaches like 6 people, mainly his sons, his nephews. He doesn't teach outsiders.
Right.
But because we're good friends with my dad, he's good friend, he took me in.
Admit it. You're the one who killed him. You seduced him. Gained his confidence. And then when he wasn't looking, you reached into your purse and without conscience or remorse, you pulled out a gun and shot him. And cut. Curious? Visit theindygathering.com, a film festival, and so much more.
In today's world, there is an absolute need to know how to protect yourself. But who has the time or money for lengthy training sessions with techniques you may not remember in a time of need, or which can wind up putting you in even more danger? With Escape and Survive, you will learn effective, easy-to-remember techniques for getting out of dangerous situations. No complicated moves, no expensive, time-consuming training, just common sense self-defense. Book your seminar today at escapeandsurvive.com.
And from there I studied, you know, learning the White Crane system. And while I was training, he's got a back room. It's called it's like the Nipa hut. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like a Nipa hut. It's like a little barn.
Right.
And I keep hearing sticks. While I'm training, I'm going, what is that? What is that out there? And then my guru would say, oh, that's called arnis. So, oh, okay. So I was practicing, and then I keep hearing it. So I said, can I see what the sticks does? So he took me in there. I was watching them do this double stick, single sticks. I wasn't even interested. I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll be carrying a stick in school. Yeah, right. Like that. Yeah, I like empty hand. I like the Bruce Lee. I would be like that. So then my guru looked at me and goes, what do you think? I said, oh, it's all right. And he goes, all right, everybody, grab your knives. So they grabbed the knife. I'm looking at it, it's knives. And I saw him do the drills with knives. They were really fast. And that kind of just took my breath. I'm going, oh my God, I didn't know knife can move like that, And then he goes, all right, empty hand. Oh, they have empty hand. And then they started doing elbows and knees, and they were sparring a little bit. And I just said, oh my God, I have to learn this one. I have to learn it. So from there, I asked my guru. Of course, it took me 2 months before he got me in there, because he said, I don't teach outsiders. I know you're my best friend's son, but
right.
Kung Fu is as far as you'll go. I cannot teach you this. This is my family art. My son and my nephews is always who's going to learn it. So I talked to my dad. My dad talked to him. We bought him beer. He smokes. We bought him a carton of cigarettes. I was just
bribed him a little
I
bit.
was kissing his butt. I really was. I said, you want me to mop your floor?
And
wash your clothes? So he broke. Finally, 2 months later, he said, all right, but that's it. Don't tell anybody you're learning this. So, okay, I won't. So I stuck with him ever since.
And what does the martial arts mean to you?
To me, it's a way of life. It teaches you discipline, not just in the martial arts field, but outside the martial arts field. The way you live, the way you carry yourself, even translate to where you're working. It gives you focus. It helps you focus, and it's with you the rest of your life. It's not just going to tournament and beating people up. It's just a way of life. You learn certain kinds of discipline in any martial art. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be Kali, Kung Fu, Karate. But you take that with you all the time. Your mind, your body, and just the way I look at it.
And do you have any advice for anyone interested in getting into the martial arts, specifically if they're interested in working with weapons? Mm-hmm. What would you say would be your advice for them?
Well, I would tell them that, a lot of people, when they see martial arts, they get into it because they see it in movies, especially now with all the acrobats and all the weaponry, the fancy move, the flashy movements, things like that. Don't take that to heart. It's a movie. They do that so people want to watch the movie, I would suggest that they would try it first. Go into a martial arts school. If they want to learn weapons, fine, they can learn weapons. Try it, see if they like it, and then from there, just take it from there, see how it goes. But like I said, you're not going to be like Jackie Chan or Jet Li or what's his name? Tony Jaa. You ever see that?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to have their money, but I can never be like them, unless you're very athletic. Other than that, if you just want to go martial arts because of that, watching the movie, then I would say, no, you don't even try that, Check out different schools. Doesn't matter what system. See if you like it. Whatever works for them, yeah.
Like now, do you have a website where our viewers can find out about your style and your school?
My website's name is Marcial, my last name, then Tirada, Tirada, all one word, Marcial Tirada, marcialtirada.net.
All right, great. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Actually, no. I'm just saying, like I said, I appreciate being invited to Circle of Masters to do a seminar. I hope I do good.
And is your seminar today or tomorrow?
It's today.
What are you showing?
I'm going to be showing them knife fighting, because stick fighting is good to learn, but I only have 45 minutes. And a lot of these martial arts here are not familiar with stick.
Is it going to be interactive or more of a demonstration?
Interactive.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm going to teach them how to cut.
Well, good luck with that. And
Thank you.
Our viewers will be able to see some clips from that as well. So thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now we're going to check Tony's seminar, primarily on knife, but there will be other parts of Kali. Very interesting when you're working into the world of the knife. Take it away, Tony.
I want you to cut across, and then put your left hand like this. Right. Go over here, guys. Let's say this is your arm. That's going to go to your muscle, your skin, your muscle, and bone. So I can start over here, and here. If I come in at you, if you're blade in your hand, that's what's going to happen is still in his hands, that's why I have the center. Smashing my blade right in there. Does that make sense? So I want this knife out of here. I don't want to spar with him. I'm in a street fight. I want to take him out. He wants to kill me, I'm killing back. Okay, make sense? So destroy that. Now I want to show you a takedown. Be careful with this. I'm going to go probably side. I'm going to go here. I'm going to bypass it. I'm going to go here. Imagine that the knife is gone.
What you may not know is the Philippines has the monopoly on the use of the knife. I've known many of the old-time masters, top tournament fighters, people like Joe Louis and others who, fought in the ring with empty hands and that, and always were to make the mention of a Filipino with a knife. You just don't want to tackle that problem. So here you saw some use of the knives, many more with the Filipino art. And again, with Taekwondo, some arts are not necessarily that much with the weapons, but we also teach an art to work against the weapons, empty hand against the weapons. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense is Northeast Ohio's premier martial arts school. Located on Cleveland's near west side, we teach several martial arts disciplines, specializing in Taekwondo and Hapkido. As taught by Master Ray Such, students of Cleveland Academy learn discipline, formal martial arts training, and real-world self-defense techniques. Classes are available for children and adults. Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense, the home of champions.
Are you a filmmaker looking for the location of your next project? Contact the North Coast Film Commission. With small cities throughout Ohio, we're here to help with your film, television, and commercial productions. With low to no cost permits and locations, we'll help stretch your budget. From our production resources to our talent database, we will show you just what the North Coast has to offer. Visit northcoastfilmcommission.com today.
Welcome back. I'm Grandmaster Ray Such. Now we're going to be going to our second interview with Soke David D'Antonio. Check this one out.
And right now I'm talking with Soke David D'Antonio.
Yes,
right?
You got it.
Thank you for joining us, David.
Thank you very much.
If you want to start off, just tell me a little bit about what style you are. Is it a hard style, soft style?
Okay, we at my dojo, Combative Arts Warrior Training Academy, we actually teach two styles: traditional Wada Hakogaru ninjutsu and a modern reality-based system that I created called CUTS, which stands for Critical Urban Tactical Strategies. And they kind of mesh together, and I always tell people CUTS is a modern version of ninjutsu set up for today's type of violence. Whereas the traditional ninjutsu is all the antiquated weapons, the swords, the kyoketsu shoge, the shuriken.
Right.
Right.
So you want to take a more practical approach.
Exactly, and we're neither a hard style or a soft style, kind of a happy mesh between the two. The idea is to be able to survive the conflict. So we have an approach that whatever it takes, gelling with the combative tempo and doing what it takes to survive that particular violent encounter.
And what is a class like at your school? What are your big focuses?
Intensity. The classes are very intense. We deal a lot with an adrenal-based focus. We try to get the students really thinking and using what I like to call reflex response. In all of the training, we have a philosophy of fight, flight, or freeze, which a lot of people don't talk about the freeze factor, and we try to bypass the freeze factor through utilizing gross motor skill movements, reflex response, and muscle memory. Movements that we use naturally every day so that we really don't have to think about the movement, it just is already there, and how we already respond to a certain stimuli. Like if you're afraid and you kind of jump here, well, you're already there. Learn to react from that stimulus. And
you use that in your techniques?
Exactly, as opposed to trying to take a stance or some kind of rigid form. You're more gelling with the combative tempo so that you're doing what is necessary at that particular moment.
And where is your school located?
We have quite a few. We are in Northern Liberties, Philadelphia. We have one in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have associate schools in Reno, Nevada. We have an associate school in Atlanta, Georgia. And I run an organization that has 800 plus members in 12 countries. It's the global network of professional reality-based fighting instructors.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I was told to ask you about your beads.
Okay, so this is a mala. Now, if you think about the ninja persona, the ninja had to be able to fit in and be sneaky. So there's something called Shichi Hode, which was the 7 ways of being or 7 ways of going about. And they were the basic jobs of the day farmer, monk, fisherman. So the ninja would often take the mala and use it as part of their dress, because the ninja had to fit in. Everybody thinks the ninja had the black cowl and no, because that stands out.
Right.
So the ninja would fit in, just like today, if I wanted to enter into a building, I wouldn't enter in a black ninja costume. I would go in as a repairman or a janitor and fit in with, you know, what happens. So the mala, while they are prayer beads, they're also a multifunctional weapon. We can use it as a striking tool, a tool to ensnare and trap or choke. We can also break them apart and throw them at someone, or throw them on the ground like caltrops, so someone can slip and trip on them. So while it appears to be a very innocuous prayer tool, it's actually a very deadly weapon as well that we use.
This is some really interesting stuff here.
And this is my personal mala. It was given to me by my teacher.
That's great. And what brings you here to the Circle of Masters?
Respect for the martial arts and the people that run the event. Grandmaster Dan McGeady, who I've respected since I was a child, and I first started seeing him in magazines and whatnot, well before the days of the internet. And Grandmaster McGeady actually is the gentleman who promoted me to 9th degree black belt and made me a member of Circle of Masters. And I was asked this past year at World Karate Union by Grandmaster Ballast if I could come and teach, and I thought it was a great honor. And I come here humbly just to show what I was so lucky enough to learn from my teachers. And we always say you support what you love.
Right.
I love these people, I love the martial arts, so I'm here to support and teach and share.
That's great. Now, does your seminar involve these beads and some of the weapons?
Well, we were actually going to do the Happogiri 8 cutting patterns of the ninja katana. Nobody brought their bokken, their wooden swords, so we worked more with empty hand stuff. Yes, I do teach this in the classes. I didn't teach it today. People would have to have some kind of rope or something so they can work out with it.
Right.
But tomorrow we're actually going to teach the reality-based martial art, the cuts method, and I'm going to teach edged weapon survival, how to survive somebody coming at you with a screwdriver or a knife or a machete, and how to realistically counteract that type of violence and survive that type of encounter. And we're going to do a few handgun disarms as well, get people really thinking.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you said that you have a lot of respect for a lot of these martial artists
Absolutely.
that are here. What drew you into the martial arts?
Well, I started the martial arts pretty much when I was like 4. My father was a martial artist. He helped his teacher immigrate to the United States, and I've just always done martial arts. It's, you know, some people, so I like to always say, and I said it tonight, there's martial artist and partial artist. And the partial artist is someone who goes to class once or twice a week for an hour, and they don't live the lifestyle. For me, everything I do is about being in service. In martial arts, it's about being in service. The samurai means one who serves. And I'm in the personal protection business, public safety business. So I'm always doing something. As long as I remember, my entire adult career was about protecting people, teaching people how to protect themselves, and protecting people's things, if you will, asset protection. So my life involves the service of martial arts, and that's what keeps me going, knowing that I'm doing something to help at least one person, maybe, become a better person, learn confidence, break out of old patterns and become better at what they do. Whatever it is, the martial arts, it's a vehicle to become the best you that you can possibly be.
So for you, it's all about the lifestyle of it.
Yeah, the lifestyle, the respect, the sharing. You know, you're not going to see this anywhere else. And really, if there was more of these people in the world today, we wouldn't live in the world we live in now. And unfortunately, we live in a world where there's greed and ego and all these horrible things. I believe we as martial artists have to set the example and step outside of personal feelings and just do this for the love of the art. Not the money, not the fame, for the love of the art.
What would be your biggest piece of advice, whether it's a new student that you have, if one of our viewers watching right now, if they're just getting into the martial arts, what would be some of your biggest advice for them?
An open mind. And what I mean by that, I don't care if you're a white belt just starting, or if you're a 10th degree black belt, Soke or Grandmaster, or whatever your title is. Be open to learn new techniques. Every time I see something, I get on the floor and I train, I play, I pick something up. So always, here's the thing, people in the martial arts tend to have a comfort zone, and what you need to do is step outside of that comfort zone and be open to understand that your way might not be the only way. It might be the best way for you, but learn something new, and you might have to tweak it or adapt it to your mindset. But keep an open mind. Step out of your comfort zone. Learn from as many teachers as you can. Absorb everything you can. Have that one main style that you do, but get everything you can from all the teachers that you possibly can, because there might be that one pearl of wisdom that you gain in cross-training in the martial arts that makes you the best you that you can possibly be. Always learn, never stop, always train.
That's some great advice. Now, you have a number of schools. Do you have a website where our viewers can find out more about your school, how to check it out?
Yes, it's www.phillycombatives.com. It's PHILLYCOMBATIVES.com. You can also friend me on Facebook. I have a ton of videos on there. We have some stuff up on YouTube. Or I don't hide, I'm out there. If anybody ever wants to give me a call, my cell phone number is 267-591-9383. It's all over the place. I don't, it's out there. That's why I have no problem giving it out. If you want a seminar, if you've taken one of my seminars and you're like, oh, there he is, and I had a question for him, now you know how to contact me. We're always open to help students. We're always open to come support people's events, come out to do seminars, support your seminars, you support ours. Well, and again, it's about sharing the martial arts.
Right.
That's my thing. I want to share with people.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Keep watching, and we'll be right back with more on the dojo.
This August, come to the film festival where East meets West.
It's an incredible showcase of over 75 films from around the world.
And it's more than just a film festival.
It's a place where filmmakers can gather together with the audience
for one amazing weekend
to celebrate the power,
the drama,
the joy,
the magic of independent film.
The Indie Gathering International Film Festival.
It's so much more than you ever imagined.
In today's world, there is an absolute need to know how to protect yourself. But who has the time or money for lengthy training sessions with techniques you may not remember in a time of need, or which can wind up putting you in even more danger? With Escape and Survive, you will learn effective, easy-to-remember techniques for getting out of dangerous situations. No complicated moves, no expensive, time-consuming training, just common sense self-defense. Book your seminar today at escapeandsurvive.com.
Welcome back. We're now going to go to David's seminar. A little bit different from the others. You can't miss this one. Take it, David.
Break the wrist. Arm has come inside. Arm down. Snap within the body, come snap. Okay? That feels good, right? Yeah. You want these pressure points in skinny grab. They can really hurt you. Alright, you want to try to stand up? We're going to walk around. We're going to help you out. Be careful. Really easy to break the shoulder. Quickly, we move quickly.
When you practice with a partner, move over into the circle too, so around the area so you fill.
Don't be shy. Find a partner, let's start working. Here we go. Mirror all of their movement. It's an annoying guy. But he's really good to deal with. This requires a little bit of ninja trickery. And that's kind of what we're going to use. He's pointing at my face. Come on, man, I don't have any trouble. See, he's doing that. And I break down and want to fight. He's going to pull out a gun. He's going to pull out a knife. Devin loves this, but. So again, this is this guy who's a little bit cocky. And we don't want to present ourselves like we know anything yet. We want to trick. And that's the whole idea of the ninja methodology, is to be sneaky, to not let the person know what it is we're going to do. So he's pointing at me. Man, I really don't want any trouble. Now watch what I do here. You've all seen finger locks, right? If I just use this one finger, he can really, especially because he's so tall, he can move with that. Right? Maybe he punched me, but so I got to take him down immediately, really quickly. So what I do is I slap his hand towards me. As I'm pointing his finger, he doesn't kind of like a gun. But even if I do that, it's not a lot taller. You might not have noticed. So what might work for a tall guy doesn't work for me sometimes. Some of you ladies that are high height, right? Some of you guys that are my height, you're going against a big, tall, tough guy. We bring him down, right? Now, if we want, we just walk right to the frame. Take him right down. Not in trouble, man. Down, back up. Now, if you want to really be mean, bend the finger, crush it. One more time. This Kevin likes it so much. I'm going to go slow. He's pointing. I don't want any trouble. Come on, man. Back away. I'll even give you my money. Slap it. Hands just already come up. I'm right here. I don't want any trouble. Put the hand here as I bring that back. Counter motion, right? The reason why that works so well because we're breaking the Kazushi point, balance point, by sending parts of the body in so different ways. Grab the uppercut, block it, let the finger spin in your hand. Point the tip of the finger at the armpit. We can draw here, we can block him. Work it out. Let's go back again. Let's rewind again. Go back 500 years ago. And we're going to do this like slippery kind of movement again. And we're going to use the hero no kamae concept in movement, right? Now, I want one person to help me. Anybody? Okay, yeah, come on, Drew. So, no, just stand back. Right, grab me a handful of the wind. Grab me a whole handful. You have it? No, you don't have any wind. Okay, go sit down. You failed. One more try. Who wants to try it? I know you do. Come on. Yeah, come on. It's fine. I just want you to grab me a whole handful of wind. Grab it. Just grab me a handful. Can you do it? Why? Right, it kind of slips through, right? So, so if I'm here in this receiving posture, called hiro no kamae, right? Now remember, the movement has to kind of be slippery and evasive. This is kind of like this Not sure what you're going to do, so I'm going to get out of the way and take you out of the picture kind of concept. So if she comes with a punch, I start to move, I'm going to slip up under the other arm. Just watch again. We're going to kind of keep it a little simple, real basic. From here, the punch comes in. This is my distraction now. Let's think. The ninja were famous for using that Mitsubishi blinding powders. So that's what I have in my hand, or even a poke to the face, or that makes her blink. I just kind of want to distract them for a second. So I'm here, she comes in, get up under. Quickly, you're going to come up under here. Hook the arm down. If they're tight, maybe they're like a boxer, right? It doesn't matter, so I'll just grab here. Works the same. The same. Once here. My head's here. That's where we're going to wind up. Try it. That's good.
Please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense is Northeast Ohio's premier martial arts school. Located on Cleveland's near west side, we teach several martial arts disciplines, specializing in Taekwondo and Hapkido. As taught by Master Ray Such, students of Cleveland Academy learn discipline, formal martial arts training, and real-world self-defense techniques. Classes are available for children and adults. Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense, the home of champions.
You two have disrupted my classroom for the last time.
What are you going to do about it? Spank us?
She can't spank us. It's against the law.
Spanking would be too easy. I'm going to cause more permanent damage.
And cut! Curious? Visit theindygathering.com, a film festival, and so much more.
Have you ever wanted to be an actor? At Cleveland Academy of Film Acting, anyone can get on the path to a new exciting film career. If you're new to acting, an experienced pro, or somewhere in between, Cleveland Academy is for you. We help place our students in local film projects. Classes are on Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m., and your first class is absolutely free. Call 216-323-2393. That's Cleveland Academy of Film Acting.
Now we'll be going to our common sense self-defense. We call it everything from escape and survive to a minute of self-defense, common sense self-defense for women. But all in all, it's a non-attacking, get away, get free from your attacker. And the one we're going to show you today is the single grab, which is probably the most common, a pull come along, whether it be what we call crisscross, whether it be straight across, it's a single hand grab. And here we're going to watch Kristina Michelle on how to to handle a single grab by releasing yourself and getting free.
Hi, I'm Kristina Michelle. This is common sense self-defense. And using your common sense, your freedom, is the first issue.
Hey, come on, let's go party.
No, I have somewhere else to be. I don't want to.
Come on.
The first thing I want you to do is stiffen your arm and open your hand. In a small circular motion, you're going to roll over the attacker's hand, going in the direction over the thumb, bringing your arm back towards you. We are not viciously attacking, kicking, striking, causing a fight back. So what you do is execute the technique, obtain your freedom, and flee, and get help.
Thank you, Kristina. I really love the self-defense techniques. They're very creative, so to speak. And remember, when you're talking about an ancient art, an older arts, they're adapted to today's situations, the guns, being robbed and multiple attackers and things like that. Please, if you have any self-defense techniques, you have any use of weapons, you have any type of adaptation for situations like in releases or things like that, and again, very much so the non-weapons used as weapons. Or want to tell us a little bit about your school, whether it's a self-defense techniques, whether it's weapons techniques, you want to videotape this stuff, you want to videotape an interview with the owner of the school, you want to videotape the school and the area of the school and what you teach and how you do it, please just contact us on REEL, REEL, TVnetwork.com. Either Kristina or myself, and the emails are on the website. Contact us and we'll tell you how to go about putting it together, that we can use it on footage, on the show and that. And then stay tuned and wait for your segment to come up on our show. Thanks for visiting and watching the Dojo. Please understand that we need involvement from all the school owners, and again, through the emails and everything, and I can't emphasize that enough. We'd like to get you out there. We are now seen in over 200 countries and on multiple stations, so please, send us your information. And again, I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show.